Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elise Bullock, Department of Navy Office of Small Business Program, Assistant Director for Economic Industrial Analysis. On behalf of the Office of Small Business Program, thank you for joining us today. Our goal with this Lunch and Learn series is to keep our audience connected and informed while providing timely and relevant insights on topics impacting the Department of Navy small business community and our partners by hosting these events. The Department of the Navy recognizes small businesses are a catalyst of innovation, and we use this platform as a way to attract new business partners. You can view previously recorded events on our website under Outreach and Past Events tab, or visit our YouTube channel. I would like to direct you to our website at www.secnav.navy.mil/small business, where you can find a wealth of information, including our information on how to do business with the Department of Navy, the command's long-range acquisition forecast, and points of contact for each of the buying commands. To stay current on the Department of Navy Office's small business upcoming events, you can register for our mailing list on the homepage of our website. To stay up to date about upcoming industry days, commands outreach, and in general, what's happening across the Department of the Navy. I also encourage you to connect with us on our social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter.com, LinkedIn. Upcoming webinars, we have on April 28th, the overview of the National Security Innovation Network and updates on small business opportunities and partnerships in the defense technology. September 6th through the 8th, we have the Navy Gold Coast, which is in San Diego. This year's theme is Thriving as Navy Small Business in a World Global Challenges. Today, we have a dynamic speaker here with us today who has on his Navy blue and gold, Mr. Mohler, Mr. Curtis Mohler. He's the PTAC Regional Program Manager of the University of Texas San Antonio PTAC, managing the 38-county area, assisting small and large business owners to expand their opportunities to local, state, and federal markets, providing advanced government contracting business services under the Department of Defense Logistics Agency program. Mr. Mohler is a 20-year Navy veteran who has served in several management capacities, including the Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps as the Administrator and Budget Manager, Human Resources Recruiter, Combat Communication Instructor, Warfare Coordinator for NCIS Direct Special Agent Support. Mr. Mohler is federally certified VA counselor for the CVE certification, certified business advisor, and certified GSA schedule preparer with the Georgia Tech University. Mr. Mohler has been awarded the Small Business Administration's Veteran Champion of the Year for his superior leadership and service to veterans in support of Chase Veteran Business Development Grant, and awarded the UTSA IED Service Award winner for his superior service and performance in support of local, state, and federal government contracting efforts supporting the Defense Logistics Agency. I hope you seize this opportunity to ask questions using our Q&A feature on this platform. Without further ado, Mr. Mohler, over to you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate Ms. Bullock and Ms. Washington and Destiny White hosting the PTAC, and I'll go ahead and start throwing up my slides. And I know we have a lot to go through in a short time to get there, but I'd like to just thank the Department of the Navy, who, of course, I'm a Navy veteran, Hoorah Navy. And I just appreciate so much always partnering with the Navy and supporting the Office of Small Business Programs. We know that we're going to have people throughout the nation attending this training, which is very valuable. And of course, Destiny will connect with you all and give you the slides and the other follow-up information and so that you can follow up with verification counselors. Again, my name is Curtis Mohler, PTAC Regional Program Manager in Texas. And this is the Veterans First Certification Program, a very important certification. Again, my name is Curtis Mohler. We're going to be going over a lot of information, specifically about 7 or 8 things that we're going to cover in total, 9 in this training. So I understand that during this Lunch and Learn series, it's a short time, probably about 50 minutes. And our goal basically is to provide the information to you so that you have the resources, the knowledge, to not only submit a certification, but recertify, as well as upcoming changes and things, and make you excited about getting your CVE certification, which is very important for you. Today's overview, we're going to talk a little about the PTAC programs across the nation, what I do. There's 96 PTACs across the nation. We're going to be covering the certification overview and benefits, the certification requirements, as well as the verification process, as well as the online registration process and the recertification process. Then after that, I'm going to just briefly cover the transition from the VA's certification to the SBA, which is January 2023. And of course, I'll have all the things hyperlinked, all the resources, all the information available for you on the slides, and then Navy will follow up with that. So we're excited about today's training, and we're excited to provide this information to our clients, our resource partners, and our stakeholders throughout the nation. A little bit about the PTAC and what the PTACs do. Again, I mentioned there's 96 PTACs across the nation. PTACs are specialty centers, and we're a specialty center at the IED, the UTSA IED, which is about 35,000 students. We're one of 10 centers located at the University of Texas, spread not only at the main campus, but the downtown campus. And our goal at the PTAC grant is to assist small and large businesses with no-cost advising, training, networking with local, state, federal, and DoD agencies in support of large-scale expansion. The PTAC grants are funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the Defense Logistic Agency. In summary, we take, as program managers, we take the funds or our tax dollars and we put that back into your hands at no cost for advising and training both small and large. And we put that in your hands, working for you and being a help to you to expand in your business. Our mission statement at the PTACs across the nation is to provide our clients with a wide range of training, opportunities, and resources to successfully compete on contracts with local, state, federal, and DoD agencies. At the PTACs, we don't deal with pre-startups, meaning helping you get into business, but we can help small businesses that have just started up. But don't forget, we also help medium-sized and large businesses and help you can restructure. Our main goal in this statement is to take existing business and expand them into the different local markets and see if there's a suitability fit for contracting as something the government can buy. We want to be a help to you today. Here's a particular area I cover, the 38 counties. And PTACs in Texas were regional PTACs, meaning the program managers manage a region. Now, you may be in a state where there's a statewide PTAC, and that's okay too. We're just here to serve you. We're also in Guam, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. As you can see, these are the counties I cover. Now, you may be out there and saying, hey, I'm not in one of these counties. If you navigate down below to the blue link, you can actually click on that and find a PTAC to support you in the local area. So we're looking forward to assisting you on our grant. Again, the goal is to put the money back into your hands. Here's my wonderful staff that always does it well: Tony Pala, Paul Herrera, Tommy Baker, and Miss Linda Jerje. This staff does a wonderful job, as do staffs across the nation at the PTAC, in assisting you and helping you. So we're excited to help you. That's one of the things PTAC does, is customer service and providing support to our clients, resource partners, and stakeholders. Just to let you know how our tax dollars are at work, and this is important, and your local PTAC can share this, and of course what the DLA program and the Department of Defense program has done in the billions of dollars of given generating contracts and support for our different businesses, both small and large, across the nation. But this is what our PTAC did alone here in San Antonio. I'm so proud of that, and we want to let you know what our tax dollars are, how they're working for you. Last year, we basically serviced 3,593 small and large minority-owned, woman-owned, service-disabled, veteran, and small disadvantaged businesses through 1,331 counseling sessions for a total of 1,551 counseling advisors, and that's one-on-one. PTAC also provided local, state, and federal government contracting training, hosting 54 participated events, 39 collaborations for over 2,000 attendees. So we're out there collaborating, working with our partners, local, state, and federal, and bringing actually the agencies to you to assist you. What was the result of that? 27 business expansions for $948 million, and also two additional $71 billion contracts to small minority-owned, woman-owned, service-disabled, veteran-owned, and small disadvantaged businesses. You know that small disadvantaged businesses can be very big. They've tripled the percentage. It's going from 5% to 15%. So we're supporting the national incentives here at the PTAC and PTACs across the nation. Let's go into the certification portion, because I know we have limited time, but I want to share about the PTAC grant. Basically, we're going to have three types of audience members out there today, or attendees. We're going to have people interested in the CVE program, people already submitting their packages, wondering, where do we get help? and then also people that want to recertify. So we're going to cover all those things, and we're really going to delve in deeply of the processes technically to really show you how to guide you through. I want to encourage you to get the certification. It has really helped my clients, and I think it's one of the best certifications to have in the nation to leverage contracts. Let's talk a little bit about the overview and benefits. Of course, the certification program is currently managed by the Office of Small Business Utilization. This affords veterans and service-disabled veterans opportunities for set-aside contracts, and that's really why we're doing this. The whole goal is to get the certification to leverage the sub and prime contracts through the VA when it comes to set-aside. What are the benefits? Why should you do it? Well, if you look at it, getting the certification is really going to help you propel your business and really leverage it to really move forward, especially during this pandemic. People always ask me, why should I get this certification? This is one of the main things and the main resource, and I guess the main certifications that you can leverage to move your business forward to expansion, whether you've been in business for a while or you're seeking to go into business. The great thing about the certification program is there's no time limit, such as the 8A program, where you're going to have 2 business taxes, and GSA, where you're going to have to prove 2 business taxes, and even revenues. You're not going to have that requirement. So it really affords veterans the opportunity to come in, whether you're a new business or an existing business. And so that's the difference between those programs. A great program. And as you can see, once you get certified, you're going to get a letter from the VA saying, hey, congratulations, with a link to be able to download your logo, which you can put on all your marketing materials. Very powerful with contractors. Okay, what are the basically the benefits and what are the set-asides? Well, as you can see, it gives you an opportunity to bid on contracts with over $4 billion in contract set-asides. So a lot to leverage out there, a lot to capture. It's recognized as the gold standard in the contracting world, and offers chances to business to further opportunities. Once you get the certification and you start winning contracts, contracting officers throughout the nation, whether it's local, state, or federal, know that you went through a rigorous process to get this. So that says a lot. Of course, that's also going to be in your SAM registration, that you're a veteran, and we'll talk a little bit about the differences, but also to leverage that on your capability statement. It allows access to subcontract opportunities. So when you're looking for, when there's contracting agencies or other large primes who are veteran-owned or even not veteran-owned, and they need a subcontractor who's a VA to fulfill their requirement, well, you're going to pop up because you have that certification. And it makes your business more attractive. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to enter these markets and make yourself attractive to the primes as well as the agencies. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the requirements. We're going to go through all those phases, like I said in the overview. So what are the requirements? I mean, if I want to go into it, I've never done it. What am I looking at here? And really, it's not as hard as you think. And I want to encourage you today to really get this, because we're going to make it real easy for you. And I don't want you to be overwhelmed. We want to put you at ease and let you know that there's a pathway, a roadmap, and there's people there in the PTACs, VBOCs, and SBDCs and agencies throughout the nation. We're on your team. We're here to support you. So as you can see, one of the main requirements is you will have to be in the SAM. So the System Award Management, or SAM.gov now. You have to be registered. Of course, SAM is a self-registration. And the question always comes up, can I still bid on contracts as a self-certified veteran in SAM.gov? And the answer is yes. What the CVE does is when you look at a solicitation, it's in the synopsis section, and it says this solicitation or opportunity is for somebody who's registered in SAMs, but also has the CVE certification. It's a set-aside. Now, if it just says required to be a veteran or service-disabled veteran in SAM.gov, that the CVE certification won't be required. So that always comes up. But you must be in SAM to be eligible for the contracting opportunities. Unlike other certification programs, it is a federal law that you go through the certification. It's unlike the SAM, where it's a self-certification. So yes, it's covered by the CFR, or Contract Federal Regulations 38, 73, and 74. So you do have to go through it. And just having a DD-214 and disability doesn't make you eligible or make you a service-disabled veteran with the VA. And as far as contracting purposes and set aside, it is a certification program. It is a process. Also, too, the CVE doesn't cross-reference things on medical records to check those things. I'm going to kind of go into that, the Burl system. And the fact that you're receiving payments for disability doesn't make you eligible for that. So a lot of times we have that. That's 2 different things. One being for your payment for your disability rating. Now, you can be 0% rated for service disabled, not receiving payments, but use that as a rating to actually get the service disabled certification. So keep that in mind. So two separate things there. And of course, you have to maintain eligibility, ownership, and control through that 36 month period. And of course, every 36 months, you're going to recertify. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of times things change in your business. And if things have changed in eligibility, ownership, and control, it's your responsibility to the VA to report those things and know that it will affect your eligibility. Okay, so as we break these things down, you may say, Curtis, what are we looking at here? Well, there's 4 elements, and all you have to do is remember these. Ownership, who owns the business? Control, who's controlling the business? Eligibility, are they eligible? And then verification. Always remember those 4 elements, and we're going to break it down. Okay, so when I say ownership, what does that mean? It has to be direct. That means the owner owns the company direct, not through another agency, not through a franchise agreement, that it's 100% owned by that owner, and it's unconditional. There's not stipulations or regulations attached in that formation agreement or their articles of organization. Also, the structure has to be at least 51%. Now, yes, it can be 2 veterans combined to equal the 51%, but it's the requirement to meet that 51% requirement. Now, corporations are a little bit different. We understand that it can be 25, 23, 24 in the structure, but the whole thing is that a majority has to be there, and that's very important. It has to be the highest salary. So you have to receiving a salary, and it has to be the highest one. You have to be the highest positioned officer. In other words, you can't be a vice president, but basically be an owner in the SAMs, listing 2 different things, but yet in the documents, you're not the highest officer. All those things have to match. You can't have 2 out of 3, you got to have them all. And then the ability to hire and fire. You have to have the ability to hire people and also fire people. And that shows them that not only you're the hiring manager, but you're operating and you have direct control. If it's delegated down or written in the agreements that you can't, he has a board that basically, I don't mind inputs, but if they can outweigh you in a weighted vote and you can't hire people and make contract decisions, well, you don't unconditionally control it. You have to also have the most stock. So I'll give an example. If it's Curtis Mohler, I could have 1 stock and I'm the owner, and it's valued at $900, and then my vice president has 1 stock valued at $600. That's okay. But if it's reversed and they contain more stock, well, we know we have a problem there, because we have to contain the most stock if you have active stock. Control day-to-day strategic operations. This really mixes people up. What this means basically is you can delegate things down, but there's certain things you can't delegate down. And you need to be in control of those operations on a day-to-day basis, and strategically making decisions, making contract decisions. Of course, you're going to have people delegate, you're going to have people on your team, but you should be involved in it. One example is when you win a contract, you can't just subcontract the whole thing out. There's that 50% requirement to fulfill the requirements. And then managerial experience. What's your degrees? What certifications, designations do you have? Also licensed to operate. What is your experience? Of course, that's covered in the resume, and be honorably discharged. Now, verification counselors. Where does the PTACs, VBOCs, SBDCs, other nations, how do we support you across the nation? Well, there's verified assistance counselors, and I have, there's 4 of us on our team. They're certified with the VA as verification counselors. And you can see that if you see the link down below, you can actually navigate and go there and find the verification counselor in your state in the APTAC website, and also too, there's a link there, and also in the CVE website, there's a link there for verification counselors. So what do? We explain the 38, 73, and 74. We review your documents and your business model, make sure you line up and you're eligible. We assist owners with resource tools, and we review your documents and applications prior to submission. Keep in mind that PTACs and other agencies are not legal firms. However, we have a lot of contracting knowledge, and we can assist you with advice on that. So let's talk about a little bit about the verification process. As you can see, I've hyperlinked everything directly for you, so it eliminates the work and it takes you directly to there. And I know that you're going to appreciate when you get the slides and everything, so you don't have to go searching. Number 1, you're going to meet with a verification counsel or agency, SBDC, BBOC, whoever's out there authorized to meet with you. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is create an account. The reason I'm going to tell you that later on is because a lot of times our clients or people seeking the certification have trouble getting in an account. You want to take care of that first. Once you get an account, I'm going to encourage you to take the pre-qualification quiz. And even though it's not required, it's going to tell you if you're qualified or if there's anything you're lacking, and then reach out to a local agency and hopefully a PTAC and then we can assist you through the portal. But that's really going to tell you through these self-assessments where there's 8A, GSA, and the CVE, it's going to tell you if you're qualified. And then, of course, the VIP, as you can see, that's where you're going to upload your documents through the VIP or the vendor information pages. So you have everything hyperlinked for you. Now, what are the processes at the VA? Who's up there? Who's making the decisions? What's their roles? As you can see here, you have an intake analyst that administers and welcomes the applicant. You're going to get that through basically an email that's going to come through your dashboard, and it's going to talk about the pre-application questions and assist gathering documents once you submit that up. You're just going to go to a case analyst who reviews your documents, verifies ownership and control, submits a recommendation. Then that's going to go to a federal reviewer to prepare the draft and determination letter for final determination for approval or denial. And then finally, the CVE director makes a final determination to approve or deny and issues the signed data verification letter. And that's that letter that comes with the actual seal. Okay, so what are the different statuses? You know, what can you expect on your dashboard? Well, you have pending. That means you submitted everything but have not gone through the verification for CVE. Then you've been verified and approved by CVE, getting a letter and getting the downloaded seals. And or you've been denied. You've been verified but have been sought lacking in a certain area which you couldn't resolve through your letters of explanation. And then, of course, you have to withdraw. You can choose to do that at any time in the process. Withdraw your application, get everything straight, and then apply for reconsideration once you do that after your initial denial. Now, let me kind of go over this. Just because the VA asks for clarifications, and they usually give you a 5-day window, and it's kind of so you want to check your dashboard, that's not a denial. That's for clarification. They're saying, hey, look, we have everything on all these sections, but you're lacking an explanation. Clarify this. Where's the missing taxes? That's not a denial. That's a clarification. And so you have 5 working days usually to get that done. So you don't want to ignore those emails. A denial is outright, well, you know, there's some kind of structural issue or other issue that is just hindering you, and you're just not meeting the legal requirements according to federal regulations. And then, of course, if you let yourself expire and you're currently certified, then of course it's removed. You're going to have to recertify again. What does the process look like? Okay, let's look at this. If you was to go this and say, okay, I want to do it today. Okay, the first place you're going to go is you're going to navigate to the right, and you're going to hit that login thing, and you can see the website va.gov right there. That's how I got there. And then you're going to go and you're going to create an account. The reason I'm telling you to do this first is you're either going to have a DS login, which most of us have, or an IMD account. So basically, that's the avenue or how to get access to the VIP. There is no other way. There's not an email directly to the CVE. There's no other way around it. You have to create a secure login, so therefore nobody can look at your stuff, because obviously you have sensitive materials. Once you log in and you successfully do it, you're going to see your name, and then you're going to navigate to the vendor information pages to the left, as you can see. You're going to have 4 things to choose from: the VIP, apply for verification. Of course, I already talked about the pre-qualification quiz, but everything's going to be on that link that you're really going to need to support you. Now, I said it's not optional for the pre-qualification quiz, but I think it's important that you do it. And of course, you're going to click apply for verification if you've never done it. That's going to match up the DUNS, which is now navigated to the UEI. We understand that in April that happened. That will probably be a change that the VA will make on their website. But at the end of the day, your DUNS attaches to your business. It's going to match that, much like SAMS does. And it's going to navigate to match the business, and you're going to verify, yes, that's me. If it's not, don't say, yes, that's me. You want to back out and then contact DUNS or SAMS or check that, because there's something probably wrong with your DUNS and SAMS at that point, and just verify that's you. They're going to match you up. And at this point, you're going to start your registration application. And really, it's very simple, because all you're doing is asking, they're asking you questions and you're answering these questions. And then we'll go to the uploading sections. Okay, the first thing you're going to determine is, am I going to apply for the CVE, VOSB, or the service disabled? So that's, you're going to elect which one you're going to go after. And then, of course, are you 51%? Are you on a mentor protege program? Remember, I mentioned the franchise agreement, the mentor protege program. That's a big deal, because maybe there's some restriction within the agreement and it doesn't make you, it removes that control of the actual program. And of course, you're going to navigate down to I intend to compete for VA service disabled set-aside contracts. So that's where you want to go next. And of course, now you're going to complete some basic information about yourself, your veteran status, and you're going to start going through the registration, which really guides you through, and it's very simple, so I don't want you to be intimidated. Then you're going to get to the dashboard. In the dashboard, you can see lots of items. I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to give you a scenario. I know we have limited time to go through this, but obviously we can't certify you during a lunch and learn, but I'm going to break down these sections. But really, when you look at it, it's much like a SAM registration. The only difference is you will upload things in certain sections. Now let's review it. You've already determined if you're going to go after VOSB or service disabled, a little bit about you, right? That was the initial thing we talked about. Then you're going to enter the business owners, because you can have more than one. Keep in mind, with an LLC, you're a managing member if you are the head of it. Other people are the members, they're not managers. Of course, if you're in a corporation, you're going to have different things: CEO, president, owner, board of directors. So that's a little bit different. So you're going to list that, and that's only people that have percentages in that. And of course, business representatives. Who is authorized to adjust this particular thing? That's what you're going to put there. And that's what they want to know. Who's authorized to adjust and represent you in this certification? Business details will be what your structure is, different things about points of contact. Business types: are you LLC, S Corp, partnership, C Corp, or sole proprietor? Then we're going to move into the financials. That's your payroll. That, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about that. That's all your money's coming in, all your money's coming out. You know, basically, it could be like a QuickBooks, and we'll discuss that. Business documents, of course, that would be your taxes. Personal documents, those would be other things like designations, certifications. Of course, you should have already, you can capture from your SAM.gov, your NICS codes and your product service codes and your federal supply codes. And you can also get assistance from your PTAC. Of course, we're experts, and that's how you talk to the government. So you can actually extract that information. And of course, you can take your capability statement and just extract that capability statement that PTACs help you with. And you can insert that and copy and paste that right in there, and then you just hit submit. I'll just go through a scenario for the sake of this, because about 80% to 85% of the structures out there are LLCs. I'm going to cover an LLC scenario, because I know it's a lot of information, and you're looking at this dashboard going, wow, what are all these documents? Or, you know, what do you need? What do they mean? So I'm going to kind of decipher and kind of give you definitions of what you expect when you hit this. So let's just say we're going to go Curtis Mohler LLC, and I'm going to go through this. And what am I looking at? Well, you're looking at completing these documents, and you can find these documents in the required documents section of the CVE portal, which goes through the definitions, but I'm going to explain them. But you can also get that on the actual website, and of course your PTAC can help you as well. But this is what you're looking at. Now, you may look at this and say, hey, I'm a new business, I don't even have half of this. Well, we're going to cover that, because you're going to need a letter of explanation. But many of these things you're going to have, such as if you think of your license, resume, and we're going to go through each section right here one by one. I know this is really a busy slide, but just remember, this is what the things you're going to answer and the particular task items you're going to upload. So let's talk about licenses. You know, 1.1, that's it. Do you have licenses that are required either by the federal government or state or any locality that to operate? That could happen. You know, let's say it's a sales tax permit, or you have a designation or a certain requirement to operate in your particular business. Now, some businesses won't. You do a letter of explanation for that. But if you know, if you're required to have a license or designation or certifications to operate your business, that's what they're referring to. The second thing is your resume. That has to go all the way back to your military service, has to be chronological. And you want to make sure that the last 7 to 10 years are pretty heavy. And also, as an owner, you want to make sure to tell your story. Don't just say, hey, Curtis Mohler LLC started in 2019. That doesn't tell the VA anything. You need to tell a story. Hey, Curtis Mohler Incorporated, we certified in 2019 as a business. We hired a staff of 5 people. We got the following certifications as a result of that. So you want to tell a story, especially the last 7 to 10 years, because you could be covering a large period, but it has to contain some content that proves some managerial experience. Taxes, you're going to need your last personal 3 and business 3. So now you may be a new business that don't have the last 3 business taxes. Then you're going to write a statement, but you should have your personal taxes. And when I mean taxes, I mean 1040s, your 1040As, your K1s, profits and loss, your 1065s, if that's applied, or your 1120S, if you're a sub corporation that is S Corp or a C Corp. Of course, that'd be just 1120. but you're going to need all those things. Of course, it could be a Schedule C as well, but that means all those things, including the W-2s. Your payroll, of course, that's the payroll for the previous year and January to the present. Always, it'll be the same. And that will be like your QuickBooks statement of where the revenue is actually going. If you don't have revenues, then of course you're going to make a statement. Your signature card, that's going to be that you have an account from the bank, and who can sign out that account. Yes, other people can sign out on that account, but the owner has to be on there. It wobe unusual for the vice president and son employee to have access to the bank account and not the owner. These are the things they're looking at. And of course, you have to have a business bank account for IRS purposes. Contracts, this is local, state, or federal, just to prove past performance. However, unlike GSA and 8A, and when you have potential for success and you have to prove sales and things like that as a determination factor, that is not required for the CVE. So you could be a brand new startup and actually get the certification, because past performance is not a factor in doing that as far as contracts. Now, if you have that, you can upload those. If not, you can just make a statement saying that you don't have contracts, but it does help. Management agreement, this cannot be waived. You have to provide a mortgage agreement that you're operating from your house, or a leasing agreement that you're operating from a commercial property, or you're renting your property. So they just want to know, where you're operating from. Your operating agreements, now I'm doing an LLC, so you'll have an LLC operating agreement. Make sure that matches what you're putting in your actual SAN.gov, and of course your articles of organization with your state. All those things have to match. That's what they're looking for. And within those agreements, you need to make sure decision-making, weighted value on decisions, and corporation decisions, you have the weighted vote. And then nobody can outvote you. You could have 3 people in a corporation, but if you can be outvoted with 2/3 of the vote, even though you're the owner and you have most of the structural percentage, then guess what? You don't unconditionally own that business, no matter what the structure is. So they'll be looking for those things. Shareholder agreement, I mentioned that. That's I, Curtis Mohler, own 1 share valued at $900. And of course, that's what that would be, a big shareholder agreement. You may not have that. Formation document, everybody's going to have that, either from the state, local, county, municipality, or from the state, whether it's a partnership, corporation, or LLC. You're going to have that document with the articles of organization or incorporation behind them. Now, minutes and voting, that goes hand in hand, of course, with the corporation. You have to have that. With LLCs, it's desired, not required. So you have to make a statement on that. Stock, that's your stock certificates front and back. You have to have a copy of that. And then your joint venture and mentor protege program. The reason they want that is, I mentioned it earlier, what if your joint venture, even though you're 51% on that joint venture and you're the veteran, what if it says the other partner can outvote you? Or there's a stipulation in there that the assets are split, that they actually have a higher salary? Well, you're going to have trouble getting certified because of those issues. So always remember, when you're doing joint venture, you're entering mentor proteges, think about all those things when you're entering those things, because that can affect certifications. We've had veterans that's gotten certified and then they went on a joint venture, and the joint venture violates the actual certification itself. Well, when you try to go for certification, that's why veterans have issue. Always seek out the PTACs and other agencies to interpret those things for you. We'll be more than happy to help you. Franchise agreement. There's our veterans that try to get certified, and I'm saying you can't get certified as a franchise, but it depends on what the agreement says. And so we'll have to look at those documents, and then of course they'll have to determine that. Now, I mentioned the LOEs. The PTACs can help you with the LOEs. We're not a legal firm, but we can provide you input and language that could go in there as far as contracting is concerned. But ultimately, it's your responsibility to upload those and put those in there and seek legal counsel if you need. The DD-214 and disability not required anymore, because the VA uses the Burrell system to check to see if you're a veteran and service disabled veteran. So that's cross references with that. And then the spousal community property letter is no longer required. I've done a lot of certifications, and it used to be that they had to provide a spousal community property letter. Basically, the spouse would just disclaim all rights as it relates to the business. You have 8 computing property states, Texas being one of them. That is no longer required. The VA has determined that they will determine ownership without regard to community property laws, and that's federal law now. Okay, now I mentioned this LOE. Now you may say, Curtis, where am I putting those letter of explanations? If you remember the dashboard in this section, there's those individual sections. And as you open those up, here's one example on the signature cards. If you click no, that you didn't have it, you see the space down below where it shows you an open box. You can then write the explanation yourself or seek counsel legally, or you can reach out to the PTAC and we can provide maybe an explanation that you could possibly put in there. But you have to provide a statement that's called a letter of an explanation. You just can't leave it blank. That means you're going to get kicked back. That's what we mean by that. You always have an open box on any section where something doesn't apply. So you want to make sure you do that. And there, you've gone through all the sections and you're all the way at the end. So you're going to hit submit, but you have this issue where it says not allowed, because if you click that, that means there's a section that hasn't been finished. And so you want to go back and navigate to that section where you either have to provide a letter of explanation or that you have to clarify and get that submitted. If you go through, right here, I want to remind you the requirement of the 0877. Now, what's a 0877? I'm going to show you this form. This is you raising your hand saying, hey, here's who's legally in the structure. And it's a legal document. And you're going to break down within that structure who's there. That is required. That's an electronic document. It used to be hard copy, but I'm going to show you kind of what it looks for. Don't forget to sign that. That's a common mistake, and that will be electronic. And here's what that looks like. If you look right here, it says business name, ownership, right? Are they a veteran? Are they a service disabled veteran? If there's more than one, it could be a veteran service disabled. Maybe it's a veteran and a spouse. Maybe it's 51-49, 51% the veteran and the spouse is 49%. Nothing wrong with that as long as it's declared. It could be a surviving spouse. Now it could be a non-veteran. It could be a veteran that owns 51% and the 49% is a non-veteran. But how does that break out? And of course, all the owners have to sign that electronically. This declares to the VA and gives them an understanding of what's really going on as far as eligibility. Of course, you're going to hit submit, and then good luck to you on that, and hoping you get the certification, and with all these tools, you'll be able to kind of. I feel very confident that you can do that and do that as far as certification, not only securing it but making it really work for you long term. Now, one thing I want to cover is the CVE Verification. Simple processes. We always get questions on that. There may be some of you out there that are saying, hey, Curtis, I'm already past that process. I'm up from my 36th month and I'm getting letters right now from the CVE basically saying, hey, look, help me out. How do I certify? And really, it's not a complicated process at all. And I put all the steps here and let me explain them to you. And this is right from the VA's website. So if you're in that point where you have a certification and you want to recertify at that 36th month, what do? Well, you log into the Reverification Application, log in the VIP or your account. And on the portal dashboard, you can locate My Business in the column to the right. And then you're going to click Reverify and the link. So it's going to give you an option because you're going to get a special link in that letter for reverification. It's going to ask you 4 basic questions about your current designation. And then it's going to go to 15 more questions you see from step 5. And this is very important on these 15 questions because this is either going to determine whether you need to upload and clarify some things. Maybe some things have changed in your business as far as structure. I mentioned the joint venture or some other things that you may have to upload or answer as supplemental things to the 15 questions. However, if nothing's changed, you just answer the 15 questions and then follow the instructions to complete the re-verification. And then when all the steps have been completed, these 7 steps, you just click submit. And I've even provided a fact sheet for you that really takes you all the way through it. So that's even hyperlinked for you. So whether you're seeking to get into the certification as we went in earlier through the actual process, or you're seeking to recertify the 36 months, the only thing I can tell you on the 36 months is don't ignore those letters that are seeking you to re-verify and recertify. This happens a lot where they get letters on, owners get individual letters from their dashboard, they're getting letters from the VA and they're ignoring them. And what's happening is, they're expired and then they're seeking out to try to get re-verified. Well, I mentioned earlier that if you're in expired status, you're going to have to go through the whole certification process. So you want to make sure that to keep that certification to re-verify. Now you may say, will that affect my contracts? Yes, it could. because if you're currently on a service disabled set-aside contract or a VA set-aside contract, and you're not currently verified or certified, well, that's a self-reporting issue, because if you get an annual CPARS, a CPARS evaluation, and it's on a 1 to 5 scale, and we're answering certain questions on that, and we're not being truthful, that could get you in trouble on that. So you just want to make sure that you do everything right. In conclusion, it's the gold standard. Gives an opportunity for business to capitalize on that service disabled set-aside status. Helps you review, and after review, it can help you give you sources to further assistance as far as recertification, as well as capturing sub and prime contracts. We talked about that, and of course, we reviewed all those requirements, and then we reviewed the online process. Now, one thing I did, and I'm going to show you right here, is talk about the transition to the SBA, and then I'll cover the resources last because I want to try to cover that. But one thing I want to try to, there are rumors out there, and they are true, that the VA is transitioning to the SBA, and so we want to let you know about that. We do have a fact sheet. You can reach out to a local PTAC, and they can give you additional information on that. But the main thing I wanted to cover through this, because there's a temptation, obviously, as I'm saying this, as what would be the point of certifying? But I want to encourage you to get certified and continue the process, because you can get this very quickly, usually within 2 to 3 months, easy. I've seen people get it in 26 days. So you don't want to wait for the transition. That has been questions to me. As you can see right here, what are the changes going to be? So let me summarize it. Currently, the transition is going to happen on 1 January 2023. So what's going to happen? As you can see, Congress has not authorized any changes to the CVE program, only that the ownership and maintenance of the database will be transferred to the SBA. So that means if you already certified with the VA, they'll just transfer all your certification to the SBA's database. The VA will no longer host that database, and there's no effect in the certification at all. For all those that have their applications submitted during that time period, during the transition, there'll be a 1-year grace period that the SBA will give you as they go through the approval process of applications already submitted. So no worries on that. The SBA is doing a great job working with the VA and doing a smooth process on that. And I guarantee you, with the briefs we got, it's going to be real good. And of course, you have PTACs there to help you. As far as contracting officers, there's no effect on it, because the VA will continue to award set-aside contracts based upon their goals, and still be doing that from their level, from the VA's level. This affects the certification side of it. So you want to kind of move any fears that you may have on that, and not to worry, that we'll work through the process. Now, down the road, after that year period, the SBA has every right to look at the program and say, how can we improve it? Are there any changes we want to make? Or maybe there's no changes at all. It's their program. And the key is, whatever agency, whatever program it is, whether it's SBA, the GSA, whatever certification is, we want to look at the requirements, abide by the agency's requirements, and do our very best to work with them, and seek out agencies like the VBOX, the SBDCs, the SBA, and of course, PTACs across the country who can assist you with that. And of course, I mentioned there's all the resources for you, everything I covered. So you have it right here. These are the current resources on the federal laws. You can read those. As far as the SOP from the VA and the standing operating procedures, these are current resources. And this lets you know what the contracting priorities fall in within, as it relates to the FAR 19 small business, and it falls in line with that. That's the 38 USC. And of course, if you're already in certified, you see I've hyperlinked how to do business with the VA, what the VA buys, as well as the VA's forecasting site. Let me encourage you to reach out to PTACs across the country who can train you how on the VA's forecasting site. Consider that sam.gov, where they list all the set-aside opportunities, and even non-set-asides, I should say, within particular FSC and PSC sold categories. And you can do that, and it even breaks down to different areas such as technology, medical, and of course the VA is broken down by regions. Of course, ours is BIS and 17. Then upcoming vendor events. So you have all the calendar and resources hyperlinked. I know I went through a lot of information, but I want to make sure and get this to you. And we covered 3 things. If you're seeking certification, you're currently in the certification process or verification, we have very confidence that if you have these resources and assistance you need, you're going to do very well. And we're so excited for you. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to the Navy, and I'm sure there's some questions out there in the chat box, but hopefully I finished on time.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mohler. Appreciate it. Yes, we have a few questions here in our Q&A sections. The first question we have is: we are a New York certified service disabled small business, but have been unable to get the VA to recognize us due to our financial structure, where the shares of our C Corp are held by our 401k and the SDV's exclusive benefits. They treat it as a trust, not an investment by an individual. We have sent rebuttals, but the VA is not budging. Will SBA have a more business-friendly stance?
Obviously, that's a hypothetical. I wouldn't know until the transition. There could be. I mean, maybe the SBA would be more willing to entertain that. I know what you're saying. They're looking at the structure documents, and that's what I mentioned, versus the bylaws, versus what your financial documents say. And of course, we talked about how they matched up, and I know how sometimes they would view it that way, depending on what you're submitting. Of course, I don't know your individual case, but I having looked at a lot of certifications, I've seen that scenario before. I can't answer for the SBA. That would be something you have to wait, obviously, during the transition. It sounds like there was a denial at some point, and you've done the reconsideration submittal. Unfortunately, I just can't answer stuff for the SBA being a PTAC, and that'd be unfair for me to do that. So we'll have to see during the transition. At that time, you're going to have to contact and reach out to them.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question: is there a list or a database of states that have a VOSB program?
Yes, I think they mean the verification program, the verification counselors. If they go to the verification website or verification counselor website, which is it's in that slide, it's hyperlinked at the bottom for a verification counselor. If you click on that, what you're going to do is going to immediately list, it's going to say verification counselors. It's going to have state. You put the state in, and then you can navigate and see who's certified to assist you as a verification counselor, broken down by state, and that's hyperlinked within the slide.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question: are there benefits of the state VOSB programs in a form or a set aside or bid evaluation credit? If so, please describe these.
Now, of course, the CVE is federal. And of course, state is totally different. Now, when you're talking about local, city, county, and state, it's not so much a set aside, but within each state, they may have a precedence or a weighted value on what they're looking at. For example, if you had a city locality and they had a bid come out, and the bid's 100%, and let's say they say 25% is going to be if you're certified as a veteran with the CVE or with them for the locality one, it would be the local certifications. We have an agency here, the South Central Regional Certification. He's headed up by Mr. Charles Johnson, who's wonderful. Of course, that would be a certification for MBE, VBE, SBE, ESBE. That's what he's talking about, as far as that's a separate certification away from the CVE. So a lot of times what you have is you have a local contract or business through a city locality or a county locality where they use those local certifications, such as the VBE, and that's a requirement within the solicitation. But the state grabbing a CVE certification requiring that, as far as a set aside, I wouldn't really call it a set aside. That would be more a hub certification. Now, let me cover that real quick, and that's an excellent question. Keep in mind that a hub certification is for woman-owned, minority-owned, and service-disabled that are non-minority-owned that are 20% service-disabled. They're eligible for the hub according to HB 194 in Texas. Now, you're going to have to check for the locality in your area as far as the hub rules, because every state is different. But I think that, you know, the federal certification does not apply to a state certification as it relates to set aside for contracts, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you, sir. Okay, we have time for a few more questions. If you would like to add your questions to the Q&A portion of the site, we appreciate that. Are there any other, is there any last minute, oh, by the way, Mr. Mohler, you wanted to mention or anything of that sort?
Just make sure that not to be intimidated by the process, and that there's PTACs, VBOCs, SBDCs, and agencies willing to help you, and not to be fearful. But hopefully this presentation, whether you're trying to get certified or recertified or re-verified, gives you the confidence you need, and it's worth doing, and it's very important to you.
Okay, great. Okay. It looks like we don't have any more questions there in the session. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. If you have any recommendations for a topic that you would like to see presented, please forward us at an email us at osbp.pao@navy.mil. So until next time, we thank you and you stay safe and healthy. Thank you there, Mr. Mohler. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.